The alien woman returned for me and ignited forbidden passion. Stardust memories. The first time Maya Chen saw the stars ripple, she knew something extraordinary was happening. The observation deck of Research Station Horizon offered the best view in the Epsilon sector, but nothing had prepared her for the sight of space itself seeming to fold inward like fabric. Dr. Chen, "We're receiving an unscheduled transmission," called Technician Reeves, his voice tense. "Signature unknown. Not in any Earth database." Maya tucked a strand of dark hair behind her ear, her heart racing as she abandoned her linguistics research and rushed to the communications array. After 3 years studying theoretical alien language structures, the possibility of actual first contact sent adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Put it through," she ordered, adjusting her station jumpsuit. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing only static and strange, melodic pulses that seemed to follow a pattern. "It's some kind of distress signal," she murmured, her trained ear already breaking down the rhythmic structure. "And they're approaching fast." Commander Jackson appeared at her side, his weathered face grim. "Defense protocol dictates we should power weapons, Doctor." "No," Maya replied firmly. "Those patterns, they're mathematical. Fibonacci sequences, universal language. They're trying to communicate, not attack." Before Jackson could argue, the station shuddered. Something had docked with their auxiliary airlock without permission. "Security to airlock 3, Jackson barked into his comm. Maya followed the security team, her translator device clutched tightly in her hand. The inner door of the airlock hissed open, revealing a slender figure bathed in soft amber light. The visitor's skin had a subtle iridescent quality that shifted with each movement, catching the harsh station lighting like morning dew. His eyes, deep violet with flecks of silver, locked onto Maya's immediately. "Help," he said in perfect English, before collapsing forward. Maya rushed to catch him, surprised by how light he felt. His skin was warm against hers, and up close, she could see intricate patterns beneath the surface, like luminescent veins carrying light instead of blood. "I am Talik Voss," he whispered as she cradled his head, diplomatic envoy of the Lumidian Concordat. "My ship sabotaged." The medical team arrived, pushing Maya aside to place the alien visitor onto a stretcher. As they rushed him to the medical bay, Maya noticed something clutched in his hand, a small crystal that pulsed with the same rhythm as the transmission they'd received. Over the next 3 days, Maya barely left the medical bay. She volunteered to monitor Talik, claiming her linguistic expertise would be valuable when he regained consciousness. In truth, she was captivated by him, by the way his chest rose and fell with breath so similar to human respiration, by the strange symbols that occasionally glowed beneath his skin when he dreamed. When he finally opened his eyes, Maya was alone with him. His gaze found hers immediately, as though drawn by an invisible thread. "You stayed," he said softly. "You speak our language," she replied, leaning forward in her chair. "I learned while approaching your station. Your broadcasts are revealing," Maya smiled. "Then you have me at a disadvantage. I know nothing of yours." Talik's expression softened. "I can teach you if you wish." In the weeks that followed, as Talik recovered and formal diplomatic protocols were established, Maya spent every available moment with him. Under the guise of cultural exchange, they shared stories of their worlds. She learned that the Lumidians were an ancient species, with abilities to perceive and manipulate light and energy in ways humans couldn't comprehend. But it was the night before Talik's scheduled departure that changed everything. Maya found him in the observation deck, gazing at the stars. "Your people will come for you tomorrow," she said, joining him by the viewport. "Yes?" His voice carried a sadness she hadn't heard before. "The council must know what happened to my ship." This meeting was never meant to occur. Maya felt an unexpected ache in her chest. "Will you return?" Talik turned to her, the patterns beneath his skin glowing brighter. "I should not want to," he whispered, reaching out to touch her cheek with gentle fingers. "But I fear a part of me will remain here regardless." His touch sent a warm current through her body, and Maya found herself leaning into his hand. Their first kiss tasted of stardust and possibility, his lips surprisingly soft against hers as the endless void watched in silence. Forbidden Signals 5 years had passed since the Lumidian delegation retrieved Talik from Research Station Horizon. 5 years since Maya had felt his fingertips brush against her cheek in a final goodbye. The memory haunted her dreams still, refusing to fade despite her best efforts to bury herself in her work. Now Earth-based, Maya had accepted a position at the remote Artemis Observatory in New Zealand's Southern Alps. Far from the politics of the United Earth Coalition headquarters, she spent her nights scanning the stars, ostensibly searching for exoplanets but secretly hoping for any sign of Lumidian communication. "You're still at it?" Dr. Elijah Harrison asked, setting a steaming mug beside her workstation. Her colleague's concern was evident in the lines around his eyes. "It's nearly midnight, Maya." "Just finishing up," she lied, accepting the tea with a grateful smile. The holographic star chart above her desk highlighted a particular sector, the direction from which Talek's ship had first appeared, the symposium committee. "Once your presentation by Friday," Elijah reminded her. "Your work on potential non-human linguistic structures is groundbreaking, even if you can't mention the real inspiration behind it." Maya nodded absently. The Lumidian encounter remained classified, scrubbed from public records. Only those with top-level clearance knew that humans were not alone in the universe. The official story claimed Research Station Horizon had suffered a meteorite strike, necessitating evacuation and ultimately decommissioning. After Elijah left, Maya sighed and prepared to shut down her systems when an anomalous signal caught her attention. A pattern flickered across her screen, a sequence of pulses that matched the rhythm she had memorized years ago. Her heart hammering, Maya isolated the signal, hands trembling as she worked. It was directed specifically at the observatory's coordinates, too precise to be coincidental. Embedded within the transmission was a set of landing coordinates, just 3 kilometers from the observatory. Without hesitation, Maya grabbed her jacket and emergency pack. The observatory's security protocols would register her departure, but she'd have at least 2 hours before anyone noticed her absence. The bitter alpine cold bit at her cheeks as she followed her navigation device through the rugged terrain. When she reached the coordinates, there was nothing but pristine snow under a canopy of stars. Maya stood shivering, doubt creeping in. Had she imagined the transmission? Had grief and longing finally driven her to madness? Then the air before her shimmered, like heat rising from summer asphalt. Space itself seemed to part, revealing a small craft unlike any human vessel. Sleek and crystalline, it reflected the starlight in impossible patterns. The craft's exterior dissolved rather than opened, and a figure stepped out into the snow. Talek looked exactly as she remembered, the same iridescent skin that caught the moonlight, the same violet eyes now fixed on her with unbearable intensity. "Maya," he said, her name like a prayer on his lips. She stood frozen, afraid that moving would shatter this illusion. "You can't be here," she whispered finally. "Your council forbade all contact with humans," he finished, taking a step toward her. "I have defied them to find you. Why now?" "It's been 5 years. For you," he said softly. "Time passes differently in the void between stars. For me, it has been an eternity of moments, each filled with your absence." He reached for her hand, and when their fingers intertwined, Maya felt that familiar current between them, stronger now. Without another word, she pulled him to her, their lips meeting in a kiss that carried all the longing of the years between them. Inside his vessel, shielded from Earth's detection systems, Maya learned what had brought Talek back. The Lumidian Council had discovered evidence of a rogue faction planning to interfere with human development, believing Earth's resources could sustain their dying homeworld. "I am officially here to assess the threat humans might pose if they discovered this plot," Talek explained, his fingers tracing patterns along her arm. "But in truth, I could not bear to remain away, even at the cost of exile." In the soft amber light of his ship, Maya rediscovered the topography of his body, the way his skin glowed brighter at her touch, the subtle ridges along his spine, the warmth that seemed to emanate from within him. Their bodies moved together as if designed as matching pieces of a cosmic puzzle, their connection transcending the physical as waves of emotion and sensation passed between them through some inexplicable Lumidian ability. "I can feel what you feel," she gasped, overwhelmed by the doubled pleasure. "Our people call it resonance," he murmured against her neck. "It happens only with those whose souls are aligned across the stars." In the aftermath, lying together in the strange, conforming surface that served as his bed, Maya knew she could never return to her life as it was before. Whatever came next, their paths were now irrevocably intertwined, for better or for worse. Twilight diplomacy, the pattern of their secret meetings, became Maya's new reality. Every third night, when the observatory's monitoring systems underwent automated recalibration, she would slip away to the hidden location where Talek waited. His cloaked ship became their sanctuary, a place between worlds where neither human nor Lumidian laws seemed to reach. The Coalition Senate meets tomorrow to discuss the anomalous energy signatures detected near Jupiter, Maya told him one night, her head resting on his chest. They don't know it's your people's reconnaissance ships, but they're getting closer to the truth. Talek's fingers continued their gentle exploration of her hair, fascinated as always by its texture. And the Lumidian advance fleet moves closer each day, he replied. The extremist faction grows stronger. They believe humans are too dangerous to be allowed to develop further. Because of our history of violence. Because of your potential, he corrected. Few species master quantum physics within a century of discovering electricity. It frightens them. Maya propped herself up to look into his eyes. And does it frighten you? The patterns beneath his skin pulsed with a gentle blue light. What frightens me is the thought of our peoples meeting in conflict rather than cooperation. What we have, this connection, it could be the beginning of something remarkable. Their stolen moments together had evolved into an unofficial diplomatic channel. Maya secretly relayed sanitized information to her former commander, now General Jackson, claiming an anonymous source within the coalition. Meanwhile, Talek used his position on the Lumidian reconnaissance team to slow the extremist plans, buying precious time. There's a delegation arriving next week, Maya said, tracing the luminescent patterns on his chest. Official representatives from the coalition, going to meet with your council's envoys in neutral space. Talek sat up suddenly. That's not possible. The council would have informed me. The realization dawned on them simultaneously. A trap was being laid, by one side or possibly both. I need to warn them, they both said at once, then shared a look of mingled amusement and despair. How can we choose between our worlds? Maya whispered. Talek cupped her face in his hands. Perhaps we don't have to. What if we created a third option? That night they formulated a desperate plan. They would meet the delegation themselves, reveal their relationship as proof that cooperation was possible, and present the evidence they'd gathered about the extremists on both sides. The next evening, as Maya prepared to return to the observatory, their goodbye carried new weight. Talek pulled her into a fierce embrace, his skin glowing brightly enough to illuminate the entire chamber. If we succeed, everything changes, he said, pressing his forehead to hers. If we fail, then at least we fail together, she finished. Their kiss was deep and lingering, tinged with the bittersweet possibility that it could be their last. When they finally separated, Talek took something from around his neck, a small crystal pendant that pulsed with inner light. This is synchronized with my life energy, he explained, placing it around her neck. As long as it glows, you'll know I'm alive, no matter the distance between us. Maya touched it reverently, feeling its warmth against her skin. When this is over, she promised, no more hiding, no more separation. When this is over, he agreed, we find a way to build something new. Together. As she made her way back through the snow, the crystal warm against her chest, Maya felt both terror and hope coursing through her veins. In 3 days, they would attempt the impossible. To stand before two species on the brink of conflict and convince them that love, not fear, should determine their shared future. What she didn't know was that Elijah had followed her that night, his suspicions finally confirmed. As she disappeared into the observatory, he activated his secure communication device. This is Harrison. I've confirmed the breach. Dr. Chen is collaborating with an alien entity, awaiting instructions. The response was immediate. Detain her. The delegation cannot be compromised. As Maya entered her quarters, the light suddenly blazed to full intensity, revealing General Jackson and 3 security officers waiting for her. Dr. Maya Chen, Jackson said formally, though his eyes held regret. You are hereby detained under Coalition Security Protocol 9A, collaboration with non-authorized extraterrestrial entities. The crystal at her throat pulsed frantically as Maya realized their plan had already begun to unravel. Crystal Betrayal, the detention facility buried beneath Geneva's coalition headquarters, was designed to contain threats beyond human imagination. Maya found herself in a sterile white room, devoid of features except for a single bench and a wall that doubled as a view screen. The crystal pendant remained around her neck, its pulsing light her only comfort as she faced interrogation after interrogation. Dr. Chen, cooperation is your only viable option, Director Vivian Zhao stated coldly from the other side of the view screen. We know you've been meeting with a Lumidian operative. The only question is what information you've shared. Maya sat motionless, her expression carefully neutral. I've already told you everything. Telek came to warn us. The official delegation is walking into a trap set by extremists on both sides. And I'm supposed to believe this alien has romantic feelings for you? Zhao's skepticism dripped from every word. That he's betraying his own kind out of what, love? You wouldn't understand, Maya replied softly. You haven't experienced resonance, Zhao sighed, tapping something into her tablet. We've confirmed the delegation's meeting coordinates match the information you provided. A coalition security team will accompany them. If you're telling the truth, we'll reevaluate your situation. After Zhao left, Maya closed her eyes and focused on the crystal's warmth. Talek, where are you now? She wondered, knowing he must be facing similar challenges among his own people. She was right. Across the solar system, cloaked from human detection systems, the Lumidian council ship Eternal Radiance housed their own prisoner. Talek stood before the 5 council members, their elevated platform designed to emphasize his subordinate position. Ambassador Voss, you have violated our most sacred law, Elder Namara declared. Her luminescence dimmed with disappointment. Contact with humans was explicitly forbidden after the initial encounter. What I discovered changes everything, Talek insisted. The humans aren't the threat. Advisor Krell and his faction are manipulating both sides toward conflict. Counselor Darius leaned forward. These are serious accusations against a respected advisor. I have evidence, Talek replied, raising his hand where a crystal data node glowed. Krell has been secretly communicating with extremist elements in the Earth Coalition, individuals who would profit from a conflict with our kind. The council chamber doors slid open, revealing Advisor Krell himself, flanked by security personnel. The tall, imposing Lumidian's patterns pulsed with barely contained anger. Interesting allegations from a traitor, Krell said smoothly, one who has formed an illegal bond with a human. Talek remained calm. You sabotaged my ship 5 years ago. You wanted first contact to fail. The human delegation approaches, Krell countered, ignoring the accusation. Rather than listen to a corrupted ambassador, perhaps we should prepare to receive them properly. At that moment, a junior officer burst into the chamber. Counselors! We've detected coalition ships moving into offensive positions around the meeting coordinates. Krell's expression turned triumphant. You see? They come with weapons just as I predicted. Because you arranged it, Talek shot back. He turned to the council. Please verify my evidence before it's too late. Elder Namara nodded gravely. Place Advisor Krell under restriction until we can examine Ambassador Voss's data. And prepare my personal vessel. I will attend this delegation myself. In Geneva, Maya's cell door unexpectedly slid open. Elijah stood in the doorway, his face grim. We don't have much time, he said, checking the corridor. Jackson sent me. The extremist faction has taken control of the delegation mission. They're sending in a strike team, not diplomats. Maya's heart raced. We have to warn Talek, warn everyone. That's why I'm here. Elijah handed her a small device. This will disable your tracking implant for 6 hours. There's a shuttle waiting. As they hurried through back corridors, Maya asked, Why are you helping me? You turned me in. I reported an unidentified alien contact, he corrected. Once Jackson told me the full story, he shrugged. I'm a scientist. I'd rather make history through peaceful contact than have humanity remembered for starting an interstellar war. The shuttle took them to a remote airfield where General Jackson waited beside a sleek, experimental craft. This vessel incorporates technology we reverse-engineered from scans of the Lumidian ship, Jackson explained as they boarded. It's the fastest thing we have and completely off the books. As they broke atmosphere, Maya clutched the crystal pendant. Its pulse had become erratic, suggesting Talek was in motion or in danger. How will we find them? Elijah asked. Maya closed her eyes, focusing on the crystal's energy. I'll know, she said simply. Near the orbit of Mars, 2 fleets faced each other in tense formation. The coalition ships, bristling with hastily adapted weapons, positioned themselves in defensive patterns around the diplomatic vessel. Opposite them, the elegant crystalline structures of Lumidian craft glimmered against the backdrop of space. On the bridge of the Lumidian flagship, Talek stood beside Elder Nimara, watching the humans approach. The small vessel moving at high velocity, a Lumidian operator announced. It's not following Coalition protocols. Talek felt a sudden warmth in his chest, the twin to Maya's crystal responding to her proximity. That's her, he breathed. She's coming. Before either fleet could react to the approaching vessel, the communication system crackled to life with Maya's voice. This is Dr. Maya Chen broadcasting to all ships. Both delegations have been compromised. I have evidence of a conspiracy. Please let us dock and explain. For a tense moment, it seemed both sides might open fire. Then Elder Nimara stepped forward. Permit them to dock, she ordered. I will hear them out. As Maya's ship docked with the Lumidian flagship, Coalition Admiral Reeves made a similar decision. Send a team to the Lumidian vessel. I want to know what's happening. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of two civilizations. Convergent horizons. The Lumidian flagship's central chamber glowed with soft ambient light as delegations from both worlds faced each other across a circular space. Maya and Talek stood in the center, united despite the tension surrounding them. What you're suggesting is preposterous, Coalition Vice Minister Chen declared, his face flushed with anger. A conspiracy spanning two worlds? Not two entire worlds, Maya clarified. Small factions on both sides, those who would profit from conflict. Elder Nimara's luminescent patterns shifted thoughtfully. We have examined Ambassador Voss's evidence. Advisor Krell did indeed maintain unauthorized communications with certain human elements. Admiral Reeves stepped forward. We've confirmed similar findings on our side. Defense contractor Xavier Blackwood has been feeding manipulated intelligence to our Senate for months. But the final piece of evidence is us, Talek said, taking Maya's hand. Their touch created a visible resonance, a harmonic pattern of light that spiraled around their joined hands. The observers murmured as the display intensified. For the Lumidians, witnessing a resonance bond with a non-Lumidian was unprecedented. For the humans, the visible manifestation of connection beyond their understanding was equally profound. This is what they feared, Maya explained. Not conflict, but connection. True understanding between our species would threaten those who thrive on fear and separation. Vice Minister Chen frowned. One compatible pair doesn't guarantee peaceful relations between entire civilizations. No, Elder Nimara agreed, but it proves something vital, that we are not fundamentally alien to each other. There exists a basis for genuine understanding. As the delegations conferred among themselves, Maya and Talek retreated to a quiet alcove. It's happening, she whispered, hardly daring to hope. They're actually listening. Talek's fingers traced her cheek. Whatever comes next, we've done what we could. Their moment was interrupted by a sudden commotion. Advisor Krell had broken free from confinement and stormed into the chamber, followed by a small group of loyal security officers. This human corruption cannot be permitted, he shouted, raising a weapon. Simultaneously, the chamber doors slid open as Xavier Blackwood and 3 Coalition commandos burst in, having overpowered their escorts. The alien threat ends now, Blackwood declared, his weapon trained on Elder Nimara. Time seemed to slow as Maya processed what was happening. Without hesitation, she placed herself between Krell's weapon and the delegations, as Talek did the same on the opposite side. Enough! Maya's voice rang out with unexpected authority. Look at yourselves, proving exactly what we've been saying. Your fear blinds you to the possibility of something greater, Talek added, his patterns pulsing intensely. As Krell's weapon charged, Maya's crystal pendant suddenly blazed with light. At the same moment, Talek's matching crystal emitted a harmonizing pulse. The resonance between them expanded outward in concentric waves, momentarily connecting everyone in the chamber in a web of shared consciousness. For a breathtaking instant, each person experienced the emotions and thoughts of those around them, the hopes, fears, and dreams of beings they had considered alien. The weapons clattered to the floor as both Krell and Blackwood staggered under the weight of sudden understanding. When the resonance faded, the chamber remained silent for several heartbeats. What was that? Admiral Reeves finally asked, his voice hushed. Elder Nimara's patterns glowed with wonder. A resonance cascade, theorized in our ancient texts, but never witnessed in living memory. It's why they found each other across the void, she continued, looking at Maya and Talek with new respect. They are resonance catalysts, capable of bridging minds beyond their own connection. In the days that followed, the foundation for a new relationship between Earth and Lumidian was carefully laid. A joint scientific and cultural exchange program was established, with Maya and Talek appointed as its first directors. The conspiracy was exposed, its architects facing justice on their respective worlds. 3 months later, Maya stood in the observation lounge of Harmony Station, the newly constructed outpost orbiting Earth's moon. Behind her, human and Lumidian scientists worked side by side, their differences complementing rather than dividing them. Talek joined her at the viewport, his arm sliding naturally around her waist. The first joint fleet leaves for the Proxima system next week, he noted. Something neither of our peoples could have achieved alone. And the resonance studies? Maya asked, leaning into his embrace. Progressing rapidly. 7 more compatible pairs have been identified. His fingers intertwined with hers, though none quite as powerful as the original. Maya smiled, watching Earth rotate slowly beneath them. Do you ever think about how unlikely our meeting was? The sabotage that brought you to Horizon Station? Perhaps it wasn't so unlikely, Talek mused. The universe has its own patterns, its own resonance. Perhaps we were always meant to find each other. As if in response, their matching crystals pulsed in perfect harmony, casting intermingled light and shadow across the faces of 2 beings who had crossed the void to discover that love, in all its forms, might be the most universal force of all. From their vantage point between worlds, the stars no longer seemed distant and cold, but filled with infinite possibility. New horizons waiting to be explored together.